Galaxy 666 by Pel Toro. Session 39.
Welcome back, everyone, to Galaxy 666, your ever-present guide to here. We start off Session 38, continuing the darkness that enveloped us in Session 36. Our four miscreants, as Ishkla observed, now know a good deal more about the aliens than they did. But do they intend to share that knowledge with the reader? Not a chance. Instead, Pel feels it a good deal more important to philosophize on the role of information, the perils of patriotism, the universality of the importance of the Roman Empire, and what does good mean. What is the goal of leaving the readers in the dark at this point? Novels and stories will be written from a certain perspective, which are numbered based on from what person's perspective we are seeing the events. A story told from a first-person perspective places us, the reader, in the head of the main character. Throughout the entire tale, we will read the thoughts and experience the world through only that main character. What motivates other characters, or what they are doing when not in direct sensing of this main character, will remain a mystery. A story told from your perspective is called second person, and these are difficult stories to pull off. A good example to look into is If on a Winter's Night a Traveler by Italo Calvino. Here is a sentence from it. You are at your desk. You have set the book among your business papers as if by chance. At a certain moment, you shift a file and you find the book before your eyes. You open it absently. You rest your elbows on the desk. You rest your temples against your hands, curled into fists. You seem to be concentrating on an examination of the papers, and instead you are exploring the first pages of the novel. Third-person perspective can take several forms, all of which consist of the narrator not being the central protagonist. This narration may have a degree of omniscience and report what all creatures are feeling and doing, or it may have a limited perspective as when we have a detective as the central figure. The narration stays close to the detective and reveals their thoughts and actions, but not those of the murderer. The narration can also portray events from a very objective viewpoint, noting only what occurs and not whether things are good or bad, or necessarily what a character's thoughts are on the issue. They may also be subjective, where we do receive that additional emotional perspective. So where does Galaxy 666 fit in? Clearly neither first nor second person perspective, and to this point he has provided enough behind-the-scenes discussion and thoughts to rule out an objective viewpoint. We have been treated to the minds of all four central characters, as well as some lower-level ones, Bion and Milka. But now we have aliens and are not receiving any information about them or the mysterious power that impacted and destroyed the Space Greyhound. All signs point to a limited subjective third-person perspective. And this is why it is jarring when now, even though all the characters whom we as readers are aligned to are in full understanding of the aliens, we are locked out. It's like Pel is working on a new, negative perspective where he doesn't include us in what is happening.
We know a great many of the basic underlying facts pertinent and relevant to them and their presence here.
Is as close as we ever get. What's more, we still really don't know what these aliens even look like. What Pel does do is treat us to his pulpit. His first rant summarizes with, "Wisdom is a fine and beautiful thing, but wisdom without some kind of executive power or some kind of administration doesn't seem to have any purpose or function." In the modern world, we have gone very rapidly from taking weeks to find out a piece of news, to gaining it in seconds, to being flooded by damn near every detail about everything continuously. If there is a piece of the world you want more details about, you can easily find yourself quickly on the end of an information fire hose, unable to sift the wheat from the chaff. Numerous companies have made knowledge management their buzzword and goal in an effort to stem this. Korzak and Ishkla, however, seem to miss the mark in their observation that the aliens may not be able to handle the large amount of information they just pulled from the humans' brains. After all, it makes sense that if the slug beasts normally communicate telepathically, they are probably used to absorbing the information quickly. What I do love about this discourse is Oski's almost apocalyptic view of an audio phone playing a message into a
horrible, frightening emptiness.
I'm sure we've all been there when the answering machine of the person we are calling picks up because no one is home, and we think to ourselves, what is this horrible, frightening emptiness on the other end? The only thing better is Oski's pronouncement that
empty knowledge is a terrible thing.
Another cert for a printing on a t-shirt. How can knowledge be empty? Information can be useless, but knowledge is information that we have used to better understand the world. Oski is truly in rare form in this session as he spouts shortly thereafter,
Double agreed.
He appears to have regressed into an overactive teenager who is out to help the cops solve a whiz-bang mystery. Then we awkwardly stumble into a lecture on the importance of not being too patriotic, given this may lead to war. But we never really get a chance to warm up to this sermon as Oski jumps in with his
Draw those parallels.
And we are suddenly seized with an overwhelming desire to throw something. Then Bronich begins to touch on ancient Roman history, and an alarm goes off in Pell's head, alerting him to the fact that it makes no sense that people raised in other parts of the universe are going to have a background in ancient Rome. So he comes up with the covering idea that, well, all members of the Empire have to learn about ancient Greek and Roman history. It isn't that even all the people on Earth today have to learn about ancient Greek and Roman history, but the poor lads and lasses on the outer fringes of Alpha Centauri some 10,000 years in the future will assuredly have dog-eared copies of Thucydides. Bronin on 2 occasions tries to get his group of philosophical vegetables back to the issue of the aliens, for which we should recognize and applaud his efforts. When he cuts off Korzak from a rant on ancient Greek history, we sigh thankfully. When he actually tells Oski to shut up, we cheer explosively. With so many challenges facing our team and them still not doing anything about them, can trauma and terror be too far away in
Galaxy 666?
Here